Hello my friends, so here we are, we're going to jump into the game and see what these patch note changes are like. So this is interesting. It still says discard after 7 rounds. This was adjusted to be 10, so and the hourglass still says charms. Hey guys, so we did some troubleshooting, we got the update working, and I thought it might actually be of value to you just to show you how this works. So if you're having trouble getting the update to activate in your game, you can right click this, go into properties, installed files, verify the integrity of the files, and then you can also go into properties, and there will be a tab that says updates. You can make sure that it's set to immediately download, always allow background downloads. And then you can restart Steam and restart your computer, and there's a good chance that that will work for you because that's what worked for me. So at any rate, we have successfully gotten this to work. So now you can choose hard, you can choose normal. For now, we're just going to go normal. So now the changes are live after that troubleshooting. Hourglass now alternates between symbols and patterns. The bonus rises by 1 at the end of each deadline, alternating between the 2 multipliers. -1 to charm space. So this is now a permanent item. Cool. Clover Pot changes, very interesting. At the end of every deadline, earn 1 for every X you own, whereas X is the current deadline. So instead of earning 30% of your tickets, you earn 1 for every X, whereas X is the current deadline. So you would have to be at deadline 30 for this to do. We'll have to test it. This is the new ring bell. Very, very good item. Something to look out for in your games. It's actually good. And the calendar also looks pretty interesting. Symbols multipliers a change instead of symbols value. Sounds very good to me. Amazingly, Dung Beetle in its current state. It's a very, very good charm. I'm just going to jump right in and get to testing. Our first shot presents us with the diamond synergy. We can go ahead and angle towards that. Almost hit him. Almost hit him again. So in the Clover Pit, the Clover Pit tryhard community, I'm in the minority here. I actually think that those are pretty good items to get early. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to go for the luck here. We didn't score enough. Kind of need the toy train to produce some scoring magic here. Toy train with the luck. There's the diamonds. So we got some scaling in. And that's pretty much why I think that they're actually worth taking, you know? I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot for those golden charms to change the entire atmosphere of your run. So here we pull for 2. Okay, we grab the sphere. We could roll a little. And that's all we can roll for. And there's a nose. So in my runs, I have banned ticket generators. I think they're overpowered. I don't play with them. They trivialize the game, in my opinion, a little too much. And that's huge because it's going to affect all of those patterns. We definitely have a pretty good base here for diamonds in place. We can absolutely greed for the nose here. Nose will change the entire atmosphere of the run. So far we're playing without using anything that was changed. I do want to play with the Clover Pot. We want to use these changed items that have experienced some kind of rework. So we'll just go for it. Even though in a standard game I would skip that. I just want to see what it's like now. We'll go ahead and double up, maybe. Honestly, we might go for Lucky Charms here because we don't have the skull. We could also take the golden treasure. So we're going to actually go for charms here. We'll sell that at profit. We'll buy the horseshoe. We don't have anything that it synergizes with, but that's okay. I do want to play with Clover Field as well, but I don't have any means to actually purchase it. I think we're good. I think we just move on here. Now that we have a full setup. So we have no's, so we're not going to bother with that. Weird clock. Voicemail. No need, no interest. Golden pepper, no interest. Cigarettes with the change. Probably just skip this phone call. If we wanted to, we could obviously have here, and that would be pretty impactful. But maybe we don't care. We'll probably tech out of that train pretty soon. It's kind of a dead item. Because the nose is just going to override it anyway. Although sometimes that happens. It's kind of interesting. Well, that's enough for the deadline. We're really not worried about our scoring at this point. These are also banned in my runs. I would obviously buy those. A repeater's interesting. And here's a music tape. I like the idea of staying in this round for a little bit longer, so we're going to go ahead and use some of these tools. Uh-huh. Perfect. We got a golden and a chain there. That was very nice. 2 rounds remain. We're not going to stay in cherries, but we're just going to buy them to increase the base values. It's always good to have broadly scaled base values, even if it's not your intention to use the symbol. Okay. Well, we hit it once. I think we're going to sell this, buy this cassette. The horseshoe doesn't really synergize with anything that we want, but we bought it because it costed 1, you know? If it costs 1 and it sells for 1, there's no harm in buying it. Okay. There's a few things that we might want. A nuclear button would be cool. Steam locomotive is modestly compelling. It's definitely better than these cherries, but the problem is it doesn't synergize with nose. Of course, cardboard box. You know, we would like to find an Abyssu before we go for that. We could alternatively just sell the clock and buy the lemons, which may be what we do. Okay, this isn't going to be an infinity run anyway because we've already determined that we're not buying the ticket generators, so we're just going to do it like this. Uh-huh. The card is very nice. Could make some charms free. Now this train is a different story. That train is really good. So we've got a pretty nice ensemble here. I think we just accept the fact that we wasted some tickets. It's not a big deal. I think we'll skip the train. We could start getting pattern multi from the chastity belt. I think we will. Baphomet. In my runs, Baphomet is banned, but you would 100% buy that right now. You were playing. Baphomet really trivializes the game. Maybe I'll buy it just to show you how trivializing Baphomet really is. I'm thinking about doing that. I'm gonna do it just to show you really how trivial he makes this game. Just by himself, you know? And then we're gonna buy this Lotus. Alright, the nuclear button will just stay there for the time being. It's a shame we didn't hit the 6. So we're always pulling for 7 because we have fortune teller. We have golden chests, we have golden diamonds. So we're always going to pull for 7. So you can see the difference in the scoring before and after the Lotus. Pretty amazing. There's our cell phone. We definitely needed that. It's a pretty easy choice at the end of this round. So we're going to buy that cell phone. And we will begin the process of mega scaling. This will force 666s onto the board, which will cause Baphomet to double symbols. Those symbols have already been scaled pretty significantly because of this, the chains that have been present inside of the above and belows. Okay, we're going to sell that fortune teller now because it's on its last tick and then it will be discarded, so we might as well take the Clover ticket instead. Let's go gambling. There you go, you hit the chests. Cross is very good as well. Cross for the patterns multi. We like cross. We may sell the chastity belt here and just lean on the cross for that instead. Here's our Clover field. We do need that. Now we're just looking for things like the property certificate. Speak of the devil. Streamer luck, as they say. Okay. Not worried about scoring at the moment. We're still in the, scaling phase. We need to keep Baphomet in our inventory only because, if there's a 666, we want to get the benefit of doubling the patterns. And I actually don't have my max charms, so I'm being silly. I could have equipped the cross. Okay, so we're at the end of the round. We have cash and a little bit of tickets. Fortune teller. I think because we're using Baphomet, we don't need it. We probably don't even need the crystal sphere at this point. If we go ahead and sell the crystal sphere. Normally, if you're using Baphomet, you don't get to do that, but it is what it is. It's a funny battery. Cardboard house. It'd be nice to have a Bisu before, but it's really not necessary. We just needed to be able to equip that. I mean, this is like a pretty GG build already. We'll go ahead and double. King Midas could be fun. Maybe I sell the treasures and take King Midas instead. I think we'll do that, and we'll go forward. With the nuclear button, King Midas has a greater appeal. No interest in Bibles whatsoever. They're actually counterproductive. The ring bell is kind of fun, actually. How good is it really now that we have Lotus in place with Clover Field? It's not necessary. We could restore charges, actually. It's not bad. I think we're just going to sack this because we already have the engine for our symbols molt in place. And we're going to recharge symbols. This is going to be kind of a crazy round, actually. The cell phone and King Midas do have a little bit of an anti-synergy, but it's okay because Baphomet makes it worth it. As you can see, we're not having any issues with scoring. This is why you need an even spread of all of your stats. You want to grow the base, the symbols, the pattern, and the pattern multi, because scoring in this game is symbols times patterns times pattern multi. That's how it works. Having Baphomet go off here is really, really good. So this is the kind of thing you can do in your games if you just want to win. You can take Baphomet in the cell phone and it's pretty much over. I don't even know what I could want. I could want the Clover Pot just to see how this works. I do want to test it. So we'll get a little fancy with our drawers here. We hit some golden diamonds there, and that's always nice. 50 million is the score. Okay, so how much is Clover Pot going to produce? It's going to produce 4, 1 for every X tickets, whereas X is the current deadline. Now plus 1. It's 1 for every 6. Okay, I understand what it means now. It is pretty nerfed. We've already accepted some red calls, so that's fine. There's only a few things that we could really want from this shop, because we don't use the ticket generators, which would completely trivialize the game. This is an interesting one. It alternates between symbols and patterns, but we're just going to use the cross for patterns, so we don't need it. That's pretty cool. A battery. We'll take a battery. There's another battery. Okay. I didn't put the nuclear button on. I'm trolling. But I think I like it being in the upside down position, so maybe it's fine, because it gives me a higher chance of getting 6s. So we'll just pretend like it was a good decision. We'll just pretend. No harm, no foul. You can definitely feel how much better Cloverfield is now. That's crazy. So you go in the drawer. You go into my gear, so that we don't make the same silly mistake. Barathrum, actually very good. Evil deal. I'm not sure if we could get it, but we do kind of want it. So I guess let's find out, huh? If not, we can just come around to it later. It's fine. You might be thinking, what? You just lost 100 million. No sweat. It comes right back. Comes right back, my friends. Even our little cherries produce that much now. So the King Midas is doing work on all of the symbols at this point. You know, treasure manifests could be cool, but it's really not necessary. We may even sell this. Take the 7 tickets. King Midas will do all of the base scaling. We'll take those tickets. we are going to sell this diamond. Take the 8 tickets. We're also going to sell this Clover Pot for the 4 tickets. We're going to toss this in a drawer here. Equip Bapho Run. And what we're going to do is double our Clover tickets and set our coins to 0. And then we're going to sack Bapho Run to do it again. Now we have 95. That's enough to buy Evil Deal, because Evil Deal is really good. We can re-equip that. Yeah, that's going to be the end of that round. But now we're in a beautiful position. There's another Clover Pot. Abyssu. It's not bad to have an Abyssu in a drawer. I guess I'll just take Gambler. We don't really care about increasing patterns. We only care about one pattern. That's being increased by the 6s. In a standard play game, I would have taken that, but this is not a standard play game anymore. For me, because I don't like to use a lot of these charms because I think they're overpowered. They really trivialized the game. I'm kind of shocked that Baphomet wasn't nerfed. I think Baphomet could simply increase the base values and it would probably already be overpowered, but doubling is insane. We'll just go ahead and pull here. $10 billion. There goes the 10 billion. But it's worth it because we got a double out of that. So with this much 666 chance, they're going to happen pretty frequently. And you just have to play around your interest in your trays correctly. That's going to be how you're going to stay a little bit safe to that. Alternatively, because of the amount of Clover tickets I have now, I could also sell that and buy a Lost Wallet, which I might do. I think it's more efficient to just do that. But if you leave the interest in the tray, the 666 is really not a big problem. We'll happily take 2 of them here. Because nose is gonna solve that problem very quickly. A 3% chance for a 6 is not very high, but we're not really stressed even if they do hit. Because we know how to play around the interest in the trays. So now that we have the interest in the tray, 15,000 is enough to go through. Even if we hit a 6 on the last spin, it's not going to be a problem. This is a pretty stacked inventory. We're not even using ticket generation. We already have 58 tickets. We're going to find out if Clover Pot and Evil Deal can actually generate good tickets or not. Even the cherries are doing 120 billion. One thing to keep in mind is with a build like this, you really don't need manifest. You're going to scale pretty well in the symbols regardless of what you do, so it's really not a big deal. Here we're going to fish for a battery before we move on. Sardines. Sardines are actually a very good source of symbols multiplier, although we're not struggling in that category now that they've changed Clover Field. I don't think we care. There's our battery. We'll go ahead and 6 tickets. Yeah, they really nerfed Clover Pot. Oh no, I don't have it equipped. That would explain that. 20. It's not bad. Evil Deal Clover Pot is not bad. 20 is still a lot. It's probably worth having these, even though they're my most valuable symbols, just to make lemons and cherries that much more likely to hit. Alternatively, I could take the Devious But you have to keep in mind, it's a 0.6% that gets doubled by Evil Deal. Maybe it is worth it to take the halving of the lemons. I think it's probably worth it. You actually kind of want these to be an even number when you're using nose, and the 6s will additionally jam up the likelihood of hitting a big pattern, so it's actually kind of good. Here we want to do a little trick. Obsessive treasure picture is interesting. We don't really have anything that we need to trigger though, so we're going to skip. Battery's cool. Megaphone. Megaphone is the kind of thing that we want to see. No drawer available. We're going to say goodbye to Abyssu. Going to buy the megaphone. Whenever you discard a charm from the table, you ban it and Virago takes it. So we're going to discard this. Virago's going to take it. We'll put it in the drawer. So now we have 8 out of 10. We can re-equip the wallet. We can re-equip the nuke button. We don't have enough charm space for this. What a shame, we can't do it. That's okay. If I had done a Abyssu cardboard box, this would work, but we don't have enough charm space for what we want to do here. This is not a min-max build by any means. We're kind of at that point where there's not a lot of charms that we actually want to see. I don't even know if it's worth it to stay in the round longer, because we're only just hitting the point where this is giving us like 20 tickets, you know? We definitely don't need a Clover Pet. Although, Clover Pet would save us a space. We're almost to the point where Clover Pet will produce this much. We don't really need the scoring, right? Because if I switch to Clover Pet, then it's an interesting idea. Anyway, I think we skip. Barathrum, we're going to want to take that. We really just want a battery. There's really nothing else. Cash wads, of course. Clover Pet would do 13. Okay, we'll just pull. Got the right equipment. Very good.
Let's go.
Okay. And we still just want a battery, so there it is. So now we've gotten into E scoring. Okay. same story, we just want a battery. We're trying to save tickets because the Clover Pot being nerfed means it's not giving us as much as we might have hoped for, but it can still produce tickets. The floor is actually helping too. Go ahead and spin again. Nice. E13. That's actually a lucky 666. Happy to see that, because you get some extra scaling in, so it's actually a nice little buff. Okay, so we're at the end of the round. It's quite expensive to roll. We're just going to leave that. This is what we wanted. Okay, so now we put this in the drawer. 9 out of 10. We equip this. We put this in the drawer. We equip this. And then we're going to discard the Virago, which contains our megaphone, and that will put it on the table. So now we're at 11 out of 9, and that will let us take a peek at this next phone call. And we'll see what we get. So double your Clover tickets and set your coins to 0 is the one that we want. We have Barathrum and Megaphone. So now we have 1395. That feels pretty good. So we're gonna put the Clover Pot. Can't put the Clover Pot away. We can start with the wallet. Put the pot away. Now the mood has changed a little bit. Actually, let's do some reading. So this now gives 139, which is doubled by the evil deal. So it's giving, 270, 280 at deadline 10. That is actually compelling now, especially because we have 188 pattern multi. It is now time to consider Clover Pet because we've reached those numbers which are meaningful. Once you have 1,000 plus Clover tickets, it's pretty good. We're going to take this and we're just going to pull for now. Actually, we're going to do a little depositing. We're just going to pull. And keep in mind, we didn't use Fidelity Card, which is a broken charm. We didn't use any of the charm generation, which is also completely broken. We just carefully calculated our tickets and still managed to get 1,400 tickets. So that should be proof enough that ticket generation in this game is a piece of cake. I'm modestly annoyed that we didn't walk away with our E numbers so that we could roll the shot for another battery, but it's okay. It's what happens when you play this kind of build sometimes. It's not going to end the run. It's not min-maxed, but this run already wasn't min-maxed, so it's okay. I guess we could try the new cigarettes. So I should lose them here. It's an 80% chance to lose them. There they go. With this many tickets, it's probably worth using them like that now, though. That's actually what we wanted. We want to do that trick again. So now we have the Virago Megaphone combination again. And the Clover Pot's here. It's not feeling urgent, like there's nothing else that we have to do right now. We can just roll until we see a battery or a cigarette. That's fine. Honestly, I think I'd rather roll until I see a battery. 275. So this is actually nice because this allows us to free up an inventory space. We're not worried about the scoring aspect. The scoring aspect is no problem. Oh, and it's doubled, so it's actually an increase. It's just a straight up increase, so it's actually just straight up better. What do I put in that spot now? I actually don't know. I mean, I guess it could still be Dark Lotus for the time being. Now I'm thinking about it, it's actually not bad to just leave it for now anyway. Dear Diary is kind of good. Number 2 is definitely decent. It's skippable though. We don't have any of the ticket generation things that we would need. Oh, Barathrum. Yeah, I do need Barathrum, so this goes away. Barathrum and Virago. We'll just roll until we find a battery now. There it is. Okay, my friends, so this goes in the drawer. Barathrum. So we have to equip Virago. Put something like the Clover Pet in the drawer. Equip phone. I mean, do we even have to do this? We don't even have to do what I'm talking about right now. We don't even need Virago because we switched to Clover Pet. It's just not necessary. So we could just do it the easy way, go to the next round. That gave us 300 tickets. Double your Clover tickets, set your coins to 0. It's going to double it twice. And then we discard Barathrum to double it twice again. Okay. This is very cozy now. So same thing. We'll keep our eyes out for, you know, stuff like Barathrum. Really, we're not stressing at the moment. We would like a battery. It's okay though. Please keep in mind, you could have way more tickets than this. If you were willing to use these, you could have so many tickets by this time. So we're going to do this because we know that we're going to be resetting our gold. So having that topped off means that the interest will be enough to prevent 666 from knocking us out. And then we just roll for those things that we're looking for. I kind of think these are worth it now with the adjustments to the way that the game works. I didn't used to buy them because cigarettes were a guarantee. Now that cigarettes are not a guarantee, I feel like maybe that is actually worth it to pick that up. There's our battery. There's another battery. That's good. Got our scoring gear equipped, so we'll go ahead and pull. I have no idea how far this run will go. We'll find out, I guess. E20. There's cigarettes. We'll use those until they run out. They're gone. We keep rolling. There they are again. They're gone. We keep rolling. If we see a Barathrum, we're going to take it. There's a battery, so we'll stay here for the time being. Pull again. Slight chance that we feel some pain from doing this, but it's okay. We'll find out momentarily. As long as we get through this pull with no sixes, we're big chillin', as they say. That allows us to lock that battery in. And now we'll spend some time here looking for Barathrum again. There it is. We've got the Clover Pot, we've got the Evil Deal, we've got Barathrum, we've got the Megaphone. There is nothing left to do in this round. We move on. Now it's giving 5,000 tickets, and a battery jumped right in the shop. We're going to re-roll until we find double your Clover tickets. Then we're going to sack Barathrum to do it again. There's no drawer available. What's in here? See ya. Goodbye. Okay, so currently we have 202,000 symbols molt, 67,000 patterns molt. These are getting close to E. Well, that's going to be the end of episode 1 of the new patch update. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to test the limits of ticket generation now that they have nerfed ticket generation. So far it seems pretty good. Pot's going to give us 42,000 now. 42,000 is pretty meaningful. It's not as good as what it used to be, but 42,000 is nothing to sneeze at. It does feel like perhaps you can't go infinite with this setup, but I have this hunch that there might be a setup where you could. So we're going to test that pretty soon, I think. You know, this run, I do think that it's going to dead end. Once we get done with this, there might be a way to go infinite, and we're going to have to test it and find out. That's the end of this episode. We will continue in the next one. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you always. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe. Head over to my Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/DuffTime. Links in the bio as always. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.